we've seen that the medical billing side is huge. It determines how much revenue is coming in. It determines the overall health of our practice. It determines who we can hire. It determines everything, right?
The difficult thing about billing is that there's no school for that. No one is teaching you how to fight insurance companies. So I own and operate Adexa. We are medical billing, coding, as well as tax and accounting firm. So specialize in helping practice owners to maximize their reimbursements. And once those reimbursements are in, we help our practice owners to reduce their tax liabilities as well. And now I'm teaching others as well so that we can get paid for what we're supposed to, and also, in a way, stand up to larger payers that are abusing the system.
All right, welcome to Dermbiz. I'm excited for our interview today. We have Phillip U. He is an expert in medical billing and coding. But before we jump into the interview today, I recommend anybody watching this today, get your pens, get your pencils ready. He's going to give you all the details on medical billing and coding so you can maximize your profitability in your private practices. So without further ado, we have Mr. Phillip U. Phillip, would you please give a little brief introduction of yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to have you.
Be here. So I own and operate Adexa. We are medical billing, coding, as well as tax and accounting firm. So we specialize in helping practice owners to maximize their reimbursements. And once those reimbursements are in, we help our practice owners to reduce their tax liabilities as well. And my background is in finance and investments. I went to MIT for my MBA and Penn State for undergrad, and now I'm in Chicago with Tony.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to have a great conversation today. Phillip, let's jump right into it because, my wife and I, we run our own private practice since 2018. We've had ups, we've had downs, right. But we've seen that the medical billing side of what we do is huge. It determines how much revenue is coming in. Mm-hmm. It determines the overall health of our practice. Mm-hmm. It determines who we can hire. It determines everything, right? Let's jump right into it. Are there some key issues or problems that you see that practice owners are doing in medical billing? Are there some mistakes that you feel like that you can help us correct? I want to just give you the floor. What do you have for us today, Phillip?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are many persistent issues that we have seen that practice owners are making. And my topic could be fairly technical. Mm-hmm. And I hope it gives you an idea what to look for.
Absolutely.
And also sends a message that you as a practice owner must be knowledgeable enough because it's your practice and it's your money.
Absolutely.
Even if you are hiring someone.
Absolutely.
So as a derm owner, one of the most common mistakes we've seen is incorrect use of CPT for lesion removal. For example, we have seen where the owner bill code for skin tags. Mm-hmm. And they do multiple skin tags. Mm-hmm. However, it's actually bundled, meaning the CPT code is bundled in a way that 14 removal is a one removal. So we see they're billing for example, 10 times and getting denied, which is causing backlog, and they don't know why. It's because they're not understanding using the correct CPT codes. So those are that's one of the most common ones we have seen. And then
so let me make sure I understand. Yeah. So you're saying a person is billing, they're doing multiple biopsies or multiple removals, and they're billing for
each removal.
Right. As opposed to saying they're billing for a bundle of removal. Okay.
Covers up to 14 removals.
Okay.
So if it's less than 14, you should bill only once.
Okay.
But we've seen it billing every removal and getting denied. And of course, you have to investigate. Or even worse, they may not even investigate, right? So, which is a big problem. However, that's one CPT code being misused that are causing a lot of paperwork that's not necessary.
So again, let me make sure I understand. So a doctor they're going in, they're doing 3, 4, 5, 6 different biopsies or removals. But as opposed to billing for a bundle,
Right.
they're billing for each one of those individually.
Right.
And so what's the ramifications of that? What happens if a person does that? Does it automatically just get denied?
Right. Right. And it causes many problems as a practice owner. So if you look at your practice manager, like your ERM, it's showing you have money coming in for 10 removes you have done. So you may budget accordingly. In the end, you don't get paid for that. So all of a sudden your cash flow is much lower than what you anticipated. And then also now you are creating more paperwork for yourself and your biller. You have to investigate why it's happening. So it's really important understanding what CPT codes covers what. And that's why we'll cover later. That's why it's always important that you work with a specialist.
Yes.
So I mean, you are in the medical field. There are many specialties, and same thing for billing. You have to understand the dynamic of what's going on in your field, because it's every practice is different.
So let me make sure I understand what you're saying. So what you're saying is just because a person does billing,
correct,
doesn't mean that they understand your specific specialties. We're talking about dermatology. They may be great at billing for OBGYN or something else, but if they don't have the expertise in dermatology, they may miss out on some things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So Legion is a good example, because you think you get paid for everything you do, but unfortunately you don't. And it's just how it's written.
Yeah.
It's a name of the game.
Absolutely. Philip, my question is there a Philip, you happen to know these codes off the top of your head?
Yep. The one I mentioned is 11200.
11200 that's the correct for a bundle of a bunch of different lesions.
Right. So if you use that, just if it's less than 14, use that one once.
So if it's less than 14,
right,
removals, you use 11200.
Right.
Okay.
And then you don't have to do it 10 times.
Okay. And that will cover all of the different removals that you did at that visit.
Correct.
Okay. And that would maximize the pay. Because I'm wondering, let me back up here. Do you think, are people trying to bill multiple different codes on those different lesions because they think that that's how they're going to maximize their reimbursement? Billing multiple on a bunch of different individual lesions doesn't maximize your reimbursement. It causes you to get flagged.
Right.
It's going to get declined.
Right.
You're not going to get paid, or you're going to have to rebill it correctly to get paid.
Right. Correct.
But doing the 11200 is the best way to maximize your reimbursement and for it not to get flagged and for you to actually get paid.
I don't think maximization is the right word.
Okay.
Yes, that's the correct way of doing it without creating additional work.
Okay.
So you get paid for your work and move on.
Okay. And when I say maximize, I guess what I'm saying is get paid what you're supposed to get paid.
Right. Exactly. Right.
That's the way you get paid what you're supposed to get paid. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another key point too is, and I think you and I talked about this as well, Philip, obviously a practice owner or a doctor can't do this billing on their own.
Right.
But the purpose of everything that we're saying is these are conversations they need to be having with their billing professional to ensure that everything is being billed correctly.
Correct. So hopefully the takeaway is that, yes, these are foreign language to everybody. Mm-hmm. However, as a practice owner, you are responsible for everything. So you must be knowledgeable, and there's no way of getting around it. You just have to know enough because it's your money and it's your practice.
And you have a very interesting perspective as well, Philip, because not only do you have a medical and billing coding company, you also have a home healthcare company where you're actually practicing what you preach, if you will. Like you're actually getting paid off of medical billing and coding. So you kind of have both sides, both views.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how we got interested, because just like everyone, we're not getting paid, and we didn't know why. And also, dealing with insurance company payers is tough because by design it's very opaque because they don't want you to know the rules.
Yeah.
They will deny it first, and then you are scrambling to figure out.
Yeah.
So as a owner, okay, this is not something I'm familiar with at all. However, it's something that I have to teach myself, and now I'm teaching others as well, so that we can get paid for what we're supposed to, and also, in a way, stand up to larger payers that are abusing the system.
Do you have I'm glad you brought that up. That was actually going to be one of my questions. Whenever you're ready to jump into the next thing that you want to, just let me know. But you said larger payers that are abusing the system.
Right.
Are there some common culprits in the insurance world? Like these particular companies oftentimes are maybe the most difficult to deal with, or they reimburse at a lower rate, or they make it more difficult, more hoops to jump through to actually get paid. Are you seeing any consistency with that?
Yeah, it's consistent across the board.
So all the companies is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So on a related topic, it actually starts from understanding your contract. Right. So if you get a contract to be in network, the contract runs around 100 pages, right? Who reads that? And then the language is very, very vague how much you're getting paid. And also, there are some restrictions, meaning, for example, it says you have to bill within 180 days, right? So, however, 180 days seems to be long enough. However, I always suggest our clients push back because you don't know whether you have enough time or not. Ask for 240 days, ask for 1 year. They may say no, but if you don't push back, you're not getting anything for sure.
Right.
So you have to understand your contract first, how you're getting paid, when you're getting paid, and then if there are any specific procedures that you need to follow. And with that, you can build your model, your forecast your cash flow, right? Because now you have fairly good idea how much you're getting paid, and also you'd be amazed that you ask how much you're getting paid, they will just not answer. So right, so there's a separate process where you request for, hey, I want your fee schedule, right? So and then it's never easy process. You have to like submit your name and like sometimes you have to fax something. It's by design very opaque and hard to get, but you want to get your hands on their fee schedule. What CPT codes are paying how much. So and then that was separate from the contract itself, because contract is handled by different department. They'd be like, they will say they don't know. They will say they will direct it to someone else. So there are a lot of these difficult process that are built into it, so that as a practice owner, it's very, very hard for you to understand. It's as if you're calling 1-800 number. Press 7, you say your name, you say your address, you guess next person, say your name, it's insane. However, that's a process, and unfortunately, and that's what we are up against, and we just have to educate ourselves and partner with somebody who knows, and seek what you're entitled to.
Quick question in regards to the CPT codes and requesting requesting the fee schedule.
Yep.
Does each company have one fee schedule?
It's all different because it's all private.
So is it different per state? Is it different per provider? Do they give a different fee schedule to different providers in the same state?
It's a different per zip code, different per payer, different per plan, different per your credentials.
So they're basically paying. Everybody's getting reimbursed at a different rate.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yep.
I mean, I knew that like rural health or big hospital systems are getting paid different than us as private practice. But you're saying even individual private practices could potentially be getting paid all different rates.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's why you got to negotiate contract every chance you can get, because what they do is they will give you a lower rate if you are just starting out, and then as you get bigger, as you see more patient of theirs, you have more leverage. You get a request for more money. However, not many people are not doing it,
Right.
because
we're one of them. We're one of them.
Because no one from Blue Cross is going to tell you, oh, call me next year when you get bigger, we'll pay you more. No.
Right.
Right.
So, okay. Now you got my mind swirling here, Phillip. How does that process work on being able to renegotiate a rate with the provider? Like, so our viewers somebody who's watching this, what would be the steps that they would need to take to say, okay, this is how you want to renegotiate?
Right. That's a very good question, because there's no one point of entry. Some company have a representative that is like a liaison. Of course, they never answer your emails. That's one way.
Yeah.
Or because we have the contact information from the contracting department, you can go there. If it doesn't work, you call their 1-800 number, wait for an hour, and figure it out. So
yeah,
that in and of itself is not very clear, and I think it's very it's not their standard practice either. I don't think they were expecting you to do that, but you can do it. And then we always ask, hey, we are seeing more of your patients. Can we renegotiate the contract?
Wow. Man, you've already given us some great nuggets, Phillip. We just jumped into this. So we got
call them today.
Call them.
Email them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we talked about the bundling.
Yeah.
The mistake that people are making with the CPT code, make sure that they bill for the bundle, not for each individual removal. We talked about the fact that we can renegotiate, or we can open up negotiations to get reimbursed at higher rates from all of our providers.
Right.
What else do you got for us, Phillip?
Okay, so it goes back to being a specialist. So when you're billing, you can add what's called modifier. So meaning literally modifying. It provides more information. So for example, modifier 59 represents distinct procedure, right? Meaning it's a distinct procedure compared to what was done on the patients, right? So by not doing that, your procedures can be at risk of bundling them together. But if you feel that, depending on procedure, of course, but there is a way to separate out certain procedure with a modifier as a separate billing code, meaning which will be higher reimbursement. Right?
Okay.
So that's same thing for modifier 25. It stands for a significant and separate service. So it's same thing. So there are certain procedures that qualify for these that can be separated out as a separate procedure and then billed separately, right? So, however, if you don't do that, they're going to all bundle together and then pay whatever the bundle payment is. So that's why it's really important to work with somebody who understands the derm practice very well, because these are fairly opaque information, and the difficult thing about billing is that there's no school for that.
Yeah.
You can go medical school, but no one is teaching you how to fight insurance companies.
Yeah.
So
this is actually kind of different than the other. So the other one, it's like you're gonna maximize is not the right word. Get paid what you're supposed to get paid by billing in group. This one, you're saying it's better with the modifiers in this particular instance if you're billing separately, because if it was grouped together, you would not get paid what you're supposed to get paid.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So there are times where you want to be billing a multiple procedures together.
Right.
There are times you want to be doing modifiers and keeping them separate.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So you are, by doing so, you are really maximizing is the right word in this context of the procedures you're performing.
Okay.
As you can imagine, it can get tricky because it's a maze that no one's telling you.
Absolutely. And again, as we said before, we're not expecting doctors, practice managers to become experts on all of this. That's why we have the expert here today.
Right.
He's giving you some key answers to the test. But the idea is that you want to know enough
Right.
to be able to figure out when something is not right, to be able to review the work that they're doing from time to time to ensure that you're actually getting paid for the work that you're doing.
Right. Correct. So going back to the bundling, there's a initiative. It's called the NCCI.
NCCI?
Yeah, National Correct Coding Initiative.
Okay.
So it's an initiative that bundles certain CPD codes.
Okay.
Or hopefully your EMR flags it and then bundles it for you, so that you're not wasting time. And at the same time, you have to know enough to separate out certain procedures so that you can build with a modifier 59. So there are many ways going around it, and you have to be knowledgeable enough to navigate the landscape.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's say we did all that, right? One of the favorite tactics of a payer of not paying you is fighting on medical necessity, right? So I know your audience is gonna tell me, Phil, I have enough time to see the patient. I don't have time for charting. I understand that. However, if your charting is weak, they're gonna reject your claims based on medical necessity. So unfortunately, you have to understand what language to be added so that the insurance company does not deny your claims. And unfortunately, there are no standard languages, meaning every procedure. I guess the baseline always is look for Medicare guideline. I think that's the baseline. That's the best practice. And from there, we can learn what language or what kind of features that the insurance company is looking for, and then add that in your charts.
So this will be, for example, like a patient wants a wart removed, they want a spot removed, and it has to be some language that indicates that it's medically necessary, or the patient is going to get a bill.
Right.
Like I've heard this before, like it has to be like itchy, or it has to like obstruct their sight, or it has to be certain guidelines. But you're saying if the doctor misses putting that in the charts,
right,
it's not going to get covered.
Right. So it goes the other way too. So some are just cosmetics, right? So don't bother billing, because
exactly
you're gonna get denied and then create more paperwork.
Exactly.
So it goes both ways. So now we are going into best practice of day-to-day operations. So this is something your practice manager can implement, and it's obvious. However, don't forget to do insurance verification and prior authorization. I have seen cases where they neglect insurance verification because it says Blue Cross ABC. Right? I was like, oh, I'm going to take Blue Cross. However, it turns out it was Blue Cross ABC from state of Missouri that happens to PPO, but the husband works in GM. Now you have this insurance. So there are many plans even under the same umbrella.
Yes.
Do not neglect to do that. Always.
So you're saying even if you're in network with the insurance, still do the insurance verification before you see the patient.
Correct. So Blue Cross is a very good example because it's everywhere and a lot of people have it. And it's a web of maze. So, for example, it's really important to check the insurance verification because there are instances where out of state patient will come to you, right? So, which means you cannot bill Blue Cross of Michigan. You have to bill Blue Cross of Illinois or Blue Cross Blue, meaning out of state billing center. So there are certain procedures you have to follow, even though you are in network, because they will say, yes, you're in network of Michigan commercial plans, but this person is not in that particular plan. So now we're gonna give you a hard time paying you.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So it's you just have to check all the time, and if you're unsure, you have to flag it right away before the procedure, before seeing the patient.
Yeah.
So you can do some legwork and figure out what's the best course of action. And
Okay.
it might mean maybe denying the patient because they're so out of depth, but it's better than providing care and not getting paid. Even worse, not being able to provide follow-up care because you found that you're not getting paid, and now you're having a moral dilemma. What do I do?
Right.
Realize all the patients.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So check the insurance, even if they're in network, because there may be some out of state dynamics going on that may prevent you from getting paid. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I know you said there's no billing and coding school, Philip, but I feel like you're taking me to billing and coding school right now.
I mean, there are some certification you can do. They won't teach you how to be a fighter. You have to stand up.
Right.
So after that, so on a related issue, I really want you to collect patient portion.
So that's co-pays,
co-insurance. And I understand it creates a lot of frictions from front end and the back end. So that's why it's important to understand the insurance verification first. So so you can tell patient, hey, look, these are the copay, these are the co-insurance.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because copays, that obviously that kind of goes without saying you got to collect copay. But when you say co-insurance,
right,
you're saying that we should be collecting the co-insurance, the amount that we would have potentially billed out on the day of. The reason I ask that question is because here's the pushback we get. I'm saying this because I know anybody who's watching is going to be feeling the same thing, and they get the same pushback. Patients say, I haven't got a bill in the mail yet. I'll pay it when I get a bill. Like, whatever, they got a 20% co-insurance or whatever. They don't necessarily want to pay that right at the time of the visit. And oftentimes when they're checking in, we don't know what that amount is because they haven't been seen by the doctor.
Right.
So we don't know what that co-insurance is going to be. We could potentially know after their visit is over, and then we could charge them before they leave. But I know a lot of people aren't used to paying in that fashion. They're used to getting billed that amount 30 days later. So what have you or your clients been doing in those kind of situations?
So when they get billed after 30 days, do they typically pay?
Typically, yeah. I would say majority of our patients pay. Now, with that in mind, I do collection calls every month. So there are some people, after a person gets 3 bills, we send them the collections. Okay. So there are times where people don't pay. But I would say 80+%, 85, maybe 90% of people are paying their co-insurance amount.
Okay, that's good. That's much higher than I thought. But maybe it depends on your patient population. Maybe your area could be well off. They don't mind. So, however, if you wanna collect upfront, you have to triangulate all the information. So, one, you have to understand their copay situation, and you have to understand what their deductibles, and their out of pocket. So you have to analyze that on day one, and then with the CPT code, with the fee schedule, you have some idea what the payment is going to be, right? And then so now you apply the co-insurance, and then you have some visibility of what the uh, patient responsibility is. So from there, you can have a policy whether you collect 20% upfront, 50% upfront, or even 100%, and then issue a refund check later. So there are several ways of going about it, and you are correct. It's hard to figure out what the amount is on the same day. However, it's by design. So meaning the payers are putting your risk on your lap, right? So now you are inadvertently taking on that risk. So to mitigate that, you can have some sort of a policy where you collect some amounts upfront, or even 100% on that. Issue a refund check later. So
Yeah. And even without us doing that, there already become situations, and I'm sure some of our viewers have experienced this as well, where you have to issue refund checks because insurance overpayment or whatever the case may be. So that's not a new tactic of issuing refund checks to patients because of overpayment. Can you give me an example of what some people are doing? Because like I remember you just said maybe it's just a certain, a flat amount or something. Is there a certain number where people, where some of your clients are doing maybe like a flat amount of money toward the co-insurance every single time, and then if that doesn't cover everything, they have to pay more, or if it overpays, then they issue a refund? Is there a certain number that people are doing?
so it depends on your practice size and your philosophy. So you could do either percentage of your copay that you need to collect, or you could simply have a rounding number. So for example, 500. This is what we're gonna collect no matter what, to make it easier without going through the math. So it really depends on your cash flow, your patient population, and frankly, your philosophy, how you want to run your practice.
Is there any pushback from a contractual standpoint with the insurance companies? Like, are there any insurance companies that prevent you from doing this? I guess is what I'm saying. Is this
The contract states that you are not allowed to collect more than what's agreed upon in the contract. It does not specify, meaning you get paid and you can charge more. So I mean, that's obviously bad. So
yeah?
so it says that, but it does not dictate your collection periods.
Okay,
Yeah.
basically saying that your job is just to make sure you don't over collect,
Right.
and if you over collect, you reimburse. But if you collect money up front, that is within the parameters of the contract, as long as you're not over collect.
Of course. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So that's a best practice that can help with a practice collections rate.
Right. If someone is having a hard time collecting that, and also, some people are uncomfortable making that collection calls.
Yeah.
It's just unpleasant.
Yeah. It's not the most fun part of my month. I can tell you that the closer it goes.
Right. So people just don't want to do it, and then of course you can outsource it, but then now you're paying for it.
Right.
So I would suggest that you do it upfront. I think that's the best way.
Support for the Dermbiz show comes from EasyDerm. If you're a dermatologist or part of a dermatology practice, you know how critical it is to have tools that make your workflow seamless. EasyDerm is revolutionizing dermatology with its intuitive EHR solutions, designed specifically to simplify your practice operations and give you more time to focus on patient care. Their system isn't just easy to use, it's built with dermatologists in mind, making it the perfect choice for practices looking to streamline and grow. Want to learn more? Head over to easyderm.com to see how they can help you elevate your practice to the next level. And here's a little insider tip. Tell them the Dermbiz show sent you. Also, before we jump back in, here's a quick reminder to make sure you're connected with us on all of our other social media platforms. We share other content on those platforms that's going to help you grow and build your private practice. We believe that we need more doctors in leadership positions in private practice ownership, and we believe that our content is going to help you get to where you need to go. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all those platforms. All right, thanks for listening, and another big shout out to EasyDerm. Now let's get back to the show. I had a question because you mentioned outsourcing. and I don't want to throw you off here. I know you have,
Mhm.
a list of things that you want to go over. We can hop back into this after this question, but
Yep.
you mentioned outsourcing. What are the pros and cons? Because I go on the Derm Facebook startup group,
Yeah.
and you hear different conversations. Some people say it makes the most sense to hire somebody in house
Mhm.
and have them do all of your billing.
Mhm.
Some people say, oh no, you should outsource it, have a company do it. People talk about, oh, if you got somebody in house to only focus on your patients and your clients, so they can dedicate all of their time. Some people say, well, you can get more experience and better expertise if you go with the outside company. What are your thoughts on the pros and cons of having an in-house biller
Yep.
or outsourcing to another company, recognizing that you are one of those companies that people would outsource to as well?
Yeah. So from a financial perspective, it's much cheaper to have somebody in-house.
Mm.
So that's one consideration. And you are correct. That person will work on your case 100% of the time. And even you can, he or she can do other tasks as well if he or she has time. And that's good. So the con would be, I think more than anything, is the continuity. So if you have one person, what happens that one person goes?
Yes.
Vacation,
Right,
retirement, baby, marriage,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
That's a big risk that you as a practice owner is taking on. And and the money you're saving up front may not be worth it. But that's an issue of continuity. And then second is that now you are dealing with multiple parties, meaning you have to bill, you have to call Blue Cross, you have to call United, you have to call Humana, and at times it's very, very hard for one person to do that as a team, because your patients are coming in every day, so you cannot stop that.
Yes.
However, if there are denials, you have to find the time.
Yes.
So you have to find the time during the business hours,
Right.
And then the person says, well, I got my paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go home. So there might be a misalignment of interest.
Yeah.
So that's another con. And I think the third one is that because the landscape is shifting every year, every day, you need somebody who has a pulse on the market, because the payer practice is changing all the time, because it's heavily dictated by, unfortunately, the election cycle.
Yes.
Depending on who's at the office, they change their tactics. And the Obamacare is a good example. The Medicare Advantage is a good example. These things are changing all the time. So,
Yes.
and that person must have interest in following that. Almost have an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah.
Because it affects his or her job.
Mm.
And if he or she has that mindset, then he or she may not be happy with what you pay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So you're basically saying that the skill set required to do the whole billing job
Right.
is more than just knowing the codes.
Right.
They have to understand what's going on politically.
Yeah.
They have to understand what's going on in the market. They have to be abreast to new announcements, new updates,
Yeah.
and to adjust what they're doing.
Yeah.
Basically, they almost have to be an in-house entrepreneur.
Pretty much.
And if you're going to get one of those,
Yeah.
they're probably going to be pretty expensive. This is not going to be somebody who you just give them a set salary and they're okay with a
Right.
2%, 3% increase in pay for the next 20 years.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So then maybe it turns out that it's not as cheap as using an outside service. Because I know you said an in-house biller could be cheaper.
Right.
But if they have all of these different skill sets and they're tuned in on the level that they need to be tuned in, they may not be that cheap.
Right. And I think the biggest risk I see is a continuity piece.
Yeah.
If you are, single location practice,
Right.
with the one biller, and now here she's gone,
Yeah.
your cash flow stops right away.
Absolutely.
That's pretty scary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you're talking about it, this makes me think too, just from a leverage standpoint, right? Like you kind of don't want to have one person in your practice who has that level of power where this one person knows something that no one else knows.
Right.
And they're the only person in your practice that can get you paid.
Yeah.
And if they leave, quit, throw a fit, hold out,
Yeah.
negotiations or whatever, you are kind of your feet is to the fire
Yeah.
for this individual person. I mean, they almost have more power than a doctor would, or just as much power, maybe more than a doctor that you hire or a mid-level provider that you hire.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
Joy of being a business owner.
Right. Absolutely. Man, you're giving some good information, Phillip. What else do you got for us?
On a related topic, a lot of our clients are losing out because no one is following up. Deny claims, and here's why they are not following up. Let's say I'm a builder for your company, and then my dog is pretty busy seeing patients.
Well,
and he doesn't bother me because he doesn't know what to ask me. He just sees the bank account, and he feels he should get paid more, but he doesn't know whether that's correct or not. I'm like, oh, okay, if I know that, then I'm gonna go home. All right, 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Time to go home. So
basically, what you're saying is, if the client is satisfied,
right,
if they're okay,
or if they're not informed, yes,
yeah, and they're not informed. Maybe they hope that they can get more, but they don't know where more should come from or whatever.
Right.
You're saying the biller is not motivated to go and chase down the denied claims,
right,
because the client is already satisfied anyway.
right. And then here's the downside of working with outside providers, and then it's in the best practice. But let's cover it now. So as a service provider, they are businesses. So it's in their best interest to sign up as many people as possible, right? And now what that means is they are going to be they are going to be resource strapped, meaning there are only a certain amount of time. They can only hire people fast enough, and they can only train fast enough. They may not even have a system to hire and train to begin with. So now I haven't made all these sales, and now I don't have time. So what's my best course of action? I work on claims that I know will get paid quickly, right? And I avoid claims that's going to take me an hour to figure it out because I don't want to, and my client is not bothering me. And I'd rather go out and sign up more clients where I can bill easily, because we get paid by the percentage of the collections, or you can pay us a flat fee. Regardless, there's inherent conflict of interest. And as a practice owner, you want to look out for a few things. So one, I understand as a business owner, you are very, very price sensitive, and you want to make sure that why this is so cheap, right? So because that's the one number you see, people almost make a decision just based on that. Oh, you charge 2%, it's good enough.
Based upon the number that the billing company is charging.
Right.
Okay.
However, there could be other fees that are hidden or they're not disclosed. So that's obviously a red flag. And then offshoring is not inherently bad, but you want to understand, if something happens, can I get somebody here, or my account manager and get it fixed for me, right? So you don't want to wait for the team to get back to you and so on.
So by offshoring, you meaning that the billing company is using somebody in another country.
Right.
That person is doing the billing. You're saying nothing is wrong with that, but you want to be able to have somebody who you can have direct, immediate contact with.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to wait for that because of times in the firms, you want somebody to work on it right away.
Yeah.
And then, so all right, on the other spectrum, so the offshoring firms are scary. I'm gonna go with the national firm, whatever the name is, right? So now you are running into a dynamic where your practice is too small for them to care. So now you're small fish in this very large brand. So you are lured by the comfort of a larger brand, but you're not getting service either because you're just too small for them to care.
Right.
So so there are many dangers of working with these outside providers that's apparent to business owners.
Yes.
So my suggestion would be you're looking for somebody who is somewhat mid-sized, and then you know for a fact that you can get in touch with the owners or the salesman, not salesman, but your account managers right away. Right?
Yeah.
So
it's something to be said for the size of the company you're doing. You don't want somebody too big,
right,
where they're not going to even really give you any time because they have huge accounts.
Right.
And then, but you're saying when they're really small,
or affordable, yeah, you wonder,
or maybe say better word, cheap.
Right. Yeah.
Because we want affordable no matter what. We want it to be affordable.
Yeah.
You're saying when they're just too cheap.
Right.
And maybe they're smaller and they're cheaper. It's because they're offshoring. They got somebody working in a different country.
Right.
Maybe you don't have the direct contact with the person who who can actually fix the issues or have a conversation. Okay.
Right. You need somebody to fix the issue because those things pile up.
Absolutely.
9 claims here and there, a few thousand here and there, it adds up.
Absolutely. So I got a question for you. Two-part question. First, whether you're dealing with a billing company or an in-house company, as the owner of the practice,
right,
how often should you be meeting with this person to ensure that things are going as they should go? And an additional question to that is, what questions should you be asking them to ensure that things are on track and they're actually going after the denied claims, that things are actually going the way they should be going?
Yeah. So I would say when starting out, weekly minimum. Minimum weekly. So, and then you have to, from there, you have to look at the common dashboard. So it could be your EMR or the billing software, and then discuss what's getting denied, because it will inform your practice in many ways. So it could be denied because your documentation is not good. So, whether you need to train yourself or train your mid-levels, you need to fix that. Can't wait, because they will always deny your documents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the procedure's getting denied. You have to understand why it's getting denied. Is it billing? Is it coding problem? Or is it my problem? Meaning, maybe it's just it's a cosmetic that's appropriate for private pay. Just then forget it. Don't bother. And by doing so, you are directing these firms or your employees to follow up that can be paid, right? So, and then by doing that, if you're looking at the same claim week over week, month over month, they're not working on it. Like if there's a legitimate reason, if they tell you hey, look, this happened, it just doesn't work. Sorry, that's fine.
Mhm.
However, if they're not giving you a legitimate reason, and you've seen the same claim over and over, then you may not have the best person for that.
Mm.
So
Okay. So in the beginning, you want to meet every week,
every week,
and then at what point do you say after the every week routine meeting?
right?
Do you say maybe it goes to like once a month that you meet with them?
Yeah, absolutely. So
And what are some best practices for either that private, the practice manager, or if it's a very involved doctor?
right.
What are the best practices on what they should be reviewing in their dashboard? Should they be like checking denied claims every day, every week, rejected claim? Like what should they be doing? Do you have an idea on what process they should be, like a flow or
Yeah,
a routine that they should have to ensure that things are getting done?
right. So you want to look at service date, you want to look at bill date, and you want to look at pay date, meaning remittance date. So the first leg is to make sure that your billers are on top of it. Meaning, even if it's a legit claim, you see a patient today and they may not get billed till next week, 1 month, who knows? Because as I said, they may have a lot of clients, and so they may not be working on your accounts.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So you want to look at when the service was done and when it was billed.
So first of all, just to make sure they're getting the bill out quick enough.
Gotta get it out all the time.
Do you have what is a good measuring stick or benchmark? Like how if they were seen on Monday, how quickly should it be billed out?
I would say tomorrow.
So within 24 hours.
Yeah, well, assuming the charts are ready. So
Right.
realistically, charts should be ready and it should go out. And chart should be ready ASAP.
Yes. Okay.
So, and charting is hard. You got to see the patient, you got to do the chart.
Yeah.
Now we have to listen to this guy.
Right. Well, with Derm too, the medical assistants do a lot of the charting.
Yeah.
They help out, but
Right.
the doc still has to put the final touches on it. So yeah.
Right.
It's easy for you and I to say, get the charting done, get the chart. And that's part of a conversation I have with our providers all the time. Have you got your notes done?
Yeah.
Sign your notes so we can get it, so easy for me to say. I'm not seeing patients, but nothing gets paid until those notes get signed and the charts get beyond.
Yeah. I mean, we are sympathetic. I mean, by the end of the day, your brain is fried and the last thing you want to do is open your computer and write a few more words. So we're sympathetic. However, I'm here to inform what happens if you don't. So you want to check the service date, billing date, remittance date, and then if those are flowing well, of course you want to look at what was denied, right? So you want to analyze what is getting denied and why is it getting denied, and it's going to inform your practice what needs to be changed.
So, quick question for you. If I'm looking at these denied claims, because I can pull my dashboard up right now, REMR, and I can look at denied claims. Would I understand why it's denied? Or would this be something that you would have to understand the detailed medical side of it or detailed billing side of it to understand why it's denied? Would it be in plain English, like,
no,
you didn't give us the right diagnosis?
The language on their billing sheet is very opaque. Something like I can't even replicate. It's like it's below the charged amount. I'm like, what? Yeah. So it's no, it's not obvious. So you have to understand from both perspective. Biller needs to be able to explain why this is getting denied, and then the provider have a pretty clear understanding of what that means.
Okay.
Because the notes are done by them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So does it make sense then, because I'm looking at it from my perspective as a person who doesn't really understand the detail of the specialty because I'm not a provider, nor do I understand the details of the billing and coding side. Does it make sense now to come to that meeting that I have monthly with my billing and coding company with these denials and maybe
Yeah.
spend the meeting going over those denied claims and say, well, what about
Yeah.
this? What about this? What about this?
You gotta hammer that.
Mm.
You gotta hammer it. And then it's a good test because you'll be able to see if they are able to explain in a way they can understand.
Mm.
And then if they're not, there's something wrong.
Mm.
That's what I always say. Whether you're hiring biller or you're hiring an accountant, if they cannot explain what they're doing to you, or if you're not understanding it, they probably don't know what they're doing.
Mm.
Or they are hiding something.
Mm.
Right?
This just made me think about something too. Billing and coding, they're two different things.
Right.
Can you explain to myself and the audience what is the difference between medical billing and medical coding? What's the difference? Who does it and what's the difference?
Okay, so medical coding is recording what you have done to your patient. That's what's called procedure codes. It was created with a good intent back in the days. It was created to track the disease progress throughout the nation because we have a procedure codes.
Mm-hmm.
But now it morphed into a monster where people are abusing to not to pay. So medical coding literally means you're coding what was on the patient. Did you remove the lesion? Record it. That's coding.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the coding, you are requesting for reimbursement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a billing. So
Okay.
yeah. So billing in and of itself is just understanding the interaction between you and the payer.
Mm-hmm.
However, without proper coding and documents, biller can really not do anything. Then I think the value of biller comes in when you get denied. So as a biller, you know the interaction. So now you're taking all the documentation reports and then fight for you. So but if everything goes well, biller's job is super easy.
Okay.
So you're just literally keying the numbers and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So to make sure I understand, basically they work hand in hand, and good coding comes from good note take up, good charting by the provider.
Right.
So as long as the provider is charting accurately, charting correctly,
right.
Then they've kind of done their part in the coding part. But you said the biller comes in when those claims get rejected,
right?
And they shouldn't get rejected. So the biller is almost the fighter, right? The biller is the person in the ring with the boxing glove,
right.
And you're like, oh, we're gonna keep at it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
If everything is done, biller's job is super easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and then so actually you bring a good point. So when you're reviewing your reimbursement amount and CPT codes, it makes you think about your payer strategies. Meaning, okay, so I'm in network and they're paying X amount for this procedure. Now, do I want to explore becoming out of network and see how much I get paid, right? Or as we discussed earlier, I mean, I'm doing this procedure a lot of times, and now I'm seeing a lot of population. Let me go back and ask for more. So it also informs your payer strategy. You have to remember, nothing is set in stone. Everything is a negotiation. Everything you can fight for anything in that contract. You can be in network, you can be out of network. You can look for another payer. I mean, the decisions are many, and then you have to optimize what best works for you and what best works for your practice and also patient population. So it could be that depending on where you are, so Northwest Indiana have a fairly high penetration of Medicare Advantage. So Blue Cross Medicare Advantage. So some payer just make a decision to be in network because there are just so many. Right. So However, I want you to make those decisions with those information, not because some consultant told you to be a network, right? Because there might be more money as being out of network provider.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, no one tell you that.
Right.
So so there are many variations of a payer strategy you can take. So I want you to make informed decisions. What are the factors that are contributing to your reimbursements?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, you're giving us so much good information. What else you got on there, Philip? I mean, I feel like you've given us a lot so far. I do have a few more questions, but I want to get your thoughts on some things. All right, so we went over a lot, Philip. Let's dive into some more specifics in regards to when you are looking for an individual to work for you as a biller, or you're looking for a company. If I'm interviewing companies, right? Because as a private practice owner, I have people who are reaching out to me on LinkedIn all the time. We can increase your revenue. Right. We can get you paid quicker. All of these different things. When I take a meeting with one of these individuals, or I'm hiring somebody to potentially bring in house, what are some key questions that I need to ask to ensure that I'm working with the right person?
Correct. So there are a few things you can ask as a table stakes. So first one is, what is your pricing structure? You need to understand what they are charging and how they are charging. So I've seen a lot of practices where they lead with a lower number, but then there are a lot of hidden charges that was not very apparent when you are first speaking. So you need to understand that. And of course, if there are any sort of hidden charges, that's a red flag. So that's a no-no.
So pricing structure.
Yep. It's common sense, but always ask for references, right? So I want to talk to the other derm owner who's working with you.
Yes.
And then this question will probably knock out 99% of the providers you work with because they don't have one.
Oh, because they don't have somebody else that they're working with.
Well, somebody else that they are doing good enough.
That they would vouch for them.
Right, exactly.
That they will want to put you on the phone with them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's tough. It really means you have built really good trust with your client.
Absolutely.
Who is willing to do a volunteer. And also, from personal experience, you have to ask this question. So maybe 4 years ago, we had a outside biller, right? So we hired somebody. And this somebody come up to me and then asked me to be a reference. And we literally just signed a contract. So what I didn't realize is that this guy does not have any reference but me, who just met like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Right? So when you get some reference, ask the person, okay, how long have you worked with this company?
Yeah.
If they say like 1 month, okay, that's a red flag right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a funny anecdote that I experienced myself.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm happy to your reference. But
yeah.
Why do you ask me? We just met a month.
Right.
This guy's doing a pretty bad job.
Yeah.
And then we covered this. So you really want to work with somebody who understands the derm, right? You want somebody who is proficient enough to read your chart and code it correctly, and also know all the modifiers or bundle codes so that you can bill correctly. So there's no paperwork, and also you can maximize your reimbursement by separating out the procedures that you're entitled to. And these are not apparent, right? Because it's all different. And then preferably you want to ask for some sort of certifications if they have one. Then great. It's not in and of itself a disqualifier, but it's something you can easily ask and get the answer.
Yeah.
And then nowadays, it's table stakes, but you also want to understand their security practice. Because last thing you want is your patient file goes out everywhere. So you want to understand that as well. And then, we covered the importance of having your quarterback or account manager ask who is the person I call if something happens. And not only that, follow up with okay, if Tony is my person and if Tony is on vacation, what happens?
Yes.
Right? So you want to ask that too as well. And then um, you want to understand Tony's background, where is he located, time zone, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can type this up for you guys, but I'll give you very specific questions to ask and just to see how they answer. Have you worked with a dermatologist practice before, and how familiar are you with the specific codes? For example, explain the difference between biopsies versus excisions, lesion disrupt versus shavings, and see how they answer.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to include a PDF with all of these questions so you'll be able to use them and implement them.
These are fairly specific, so you will get a sense right away if they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And second question would be, how will you prevent common billing errors? Can you explain to me examples of misusing modifier 25 or 59? So
Yeah. So I love this. You're basically giving them a quiz
right,
to see where they're at. Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable distinguishing between cosmetic and medical necessary procedure in dermatology? For example, how would you go about coding skin tags? Explain your process to me.
Mm.
Are you comfortable doing a prior auth for treatments such as laser treatments and Mohs surgeries? See how they answer.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to our first example. Just ask, hey, how do you bill multiple lesions, and see how they answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are many things I can include, but I would say I would end with question: what's your denial management process? Because that's where the money is made, and then depending on how they answer, I'll hold them accountable for it. So if they say, "Wow, work on every day," blah blah blah, that's fine. You want to make sure they're working on it every day.
Yeah.
Right. So there are many questions, but we'll put that in the PDF and then I'll send it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, Phillip, I want to thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. I've learned a ton just with our conversation in regards to billing and best practices. We, as a private practice, we are, our lifeblood is our ability to be able to get paid for the work that we do.
Right.
And so it's professionals like you that make us be able to have our private practices. So we thank you for that. Quick question, Phillip. If
Yep.
a person had more questions about billing and coding, or they even maybe just wanted to employ your company's services of billing and coding, how could they get in contact with you?
Yeah. So the best email is P as in Philip at patient, PATIENT, equity, EQUITY, partners with an S in the end.com.
Yep. And we'll have all that information in the description below. We'll have that on the screen as well. Thank you so much, Phillip. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you sharing your expertise. And thank you for helping us get paid for the work that we do.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Dermbiz Show. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and packed with value to help you navigate the challenges of running your private practice. We'd love to hear from you. Is there a specific topic you'd like us to cover or a question you want answered? Reach out to us at thedermbiz@gmail.com or drop us a message on social media. Your input helps us tailor the show to what matters most to you and your practice. Speaking of social media, don't forget to follow us on all of our platforms for updates, bonus content, and tips to keep your practice running smoothly. And of course, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Thanks for tuning in today, and we can't wait to have you join us again the next time. Until then, take care, keep thriving, and we'll see you the next time on the Dermbiz Show.